Lizzie's real voting record. A lesson in Democrat partisanship. On impeachment, Lying Lizzie voted yes. Article 1. Abuse of power. Article 1 claims President Trump violated his oath of office by asking for investigation of a corrupt company, Burisma. Article 2. Obstruction of Congress. Article 2 claims President Trump obstructed Congress by going to the courts. On the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2019. Lying Lizzie voted yes. This bill raised the spending cap and put more for your grandchildren to pay. On the Federal Civilian Workforce Pay Raise Fairness Act. Lying Lizzie voted yes. This bill raised the pay for federal workers who already make multiple amounts that non-federal employees make. On the Consolidated Appropriations Act. Lying Lizzie voted yes. This bill raised the spending cap and put more for your grandchildren to pay. On the Davidson Amendment. Lying Lizzie voted yes. This amendment was created to force disclosure of contributions made by corporations. Specifically, this amendment was created to put political pressure on corporations with which Democrats disagreed. On the For the Politicians Act. Lying Lizzie voted yes. This act includes several problematic provisions, many of which run over the freedom of speech and freedom of association protected by the First Amendment and privacy. The bill will do this by threatening to expose the identities of private citizens who participate in the political process, thus opening them, and their businesses, to threats and intimidation. On the Paycheck Fairness Act. Lying Lizzie voted yes. This act makes it easy for an employee or employees who allege wage discrimination to sue their employer while also making it nearly impossible for employers to defend their practices. Lying Lizzie said that she would work for local businesses. Instead, she made it easy for businesses to be sued and hard for them to defend themselves. Sounds like the Trump impeachment. On the Save the Internet Act. Lying Lizzie voted yes. This act would revive the Obama-era paradigm of big government interference in the economy, less innovation, and lower levels of investment. Lying Lizzie wants to stifle online business with this act. Mandating how that property may be used and what prices they can charge is a violation of their property rights. Any lasting framework set forth for Internet governance must embrace this principle. The Save the Internet Act, on the other hand, outright rejects it. The Save the Internet Act would also serve as a tax hike on everyday Americans. On the Climate Action Now Act. Lying Lizzie voted yes. This act would make the Trump administration develop a plan for the United States to meet the carbon emissions reductions agreed to by the Obama administration under the non-binding Paris Agreement. On the Protecting Americans with Pre-Existing Conditions Act. Lying Lizzie voted yes. This act, contrary to its title, would not protect Americans with pre-existing conditions and would make it more difficult for Americans both with and without pre-existing conditions to have the choices they need to get the best health insurance and subsequently to get the best quality of health care for themselves. On the letter against busting spending caps. Lying Lizzie voted no. Representative Chip Roy circulated a letter expressing strong opposition to another deal to bust the discretionary spending caps. On the Violence Against Women Act. Lying Lizzie voted yes. This act would undermine the intended purpose of the bill and disregards the privacy and safety of abused women, the largest population of victims. It also funds Planned Parenthood, not only the largest abortion provider in the country, but also an organization that too often refuses to report statutory rape and sexual assault abuse of its patients. On the Equality Act. Lying Lizzie voted yes. This act would work as an anti-life, anti-faith, and anti-freedom bill that would overhaul our federal civil rights framework to mandate special privileges for sexual orientation and gender identity. On the amendment to allow implementation of the Conscience Protection Rule, Lying Lizzie voted no. This amendment would strike language that blocks the Department of Health and Human Services from implementing the Conscience Protection Rule that seeks to enforce 25 existing civil rights statutes that protect health care providers from being discriminated against for their religious or moral beliefs. Lying Lizzie wants to force people into Democrat slavery. She wants them to perform acts that violate their conscience.